portion of a letter that Hayden Fry received recently. I quote, "On one of your shows, why not put a small feature on the Hawkeye Marching Band? The band is always there, creating the fans' enthusiasm. The segment of your TV show would go a long way toward giving them a little recognition." End of quote. Well, to the writer of the letter, Corwin Carnahan, we aim to please on this show. Joining us tonight is the director of the Iowa Marching Band, Morgan Jones. We couldn't bring the whole band in here, Morgan, so we just decided to bring you in here. You know, there seems not to be too much documented history of the marching bands. What were they like at the early games back in the 20s, and when did the band, as we know it today, play such a big part?
Well, you're correct, Jim. There isn't a lot of documented history. It seems that the band was formed back around 1880, but not as a marching band, more or less as a band that probably played in the stands, we're guessing. And it wasn't until sometime in the 20s that the band actually took to the field. So it's not really documented exactly when the Hawkeye Marching Band came into being.
Well, it certainly means a lot to the fans. You talk to people about what they like about the flavor of a college football game as opposed to pros or something else. They say the band at halftime and the tailgating. When did creating pictures and words on the field become the in thing to do?
Again, that is not documented exactly when it was done first, but we do know that pictures were very strong in the early 50s and running through approximately 1960. It was the big thing to put something on the field which we in the profession call a descriptive formation. That is, it's a picture of something like a choo-choo train or a stick man or something of that nature.
And, of course, one of Iowa's own, Meredith Wilson, played a big part, at least sentimentally or nostalgically, in this Iowa band, didn't he?
Indeed, because Meredith Wilson wrote the song that is currently our fight song, the Iowa Fight Song.
How does a student get into the band?
The student auditions for the band about 4 or 5 days before the start of school, and he has a playing audition as well as a marching audition.
How much time does he spend with this? As much time as one of Hayden's football players, or?
Too much time, actually. The band member has to spend a lot of time in order to do the performance as well. We spend 2 hours a day, 4 days a week, and of course all day on Saturday. A lot of people don't know that we rehearse in the morning prior to a game, and we often rehearse on Wednesday evenings as well.
You have your X's and O's about the band, just like the coaches have their X's and O's, right?
Indeed we do, except there are about 280 of those little X's.
Okay. I can't imagine the toughest thing in the world has got to be on a cold day marching along playing the tuba.
It's very difficult because the lips don't work so well on a cold day.
Okay. Right now we're going to take a look now at a portion of Saturday's halftime show finale. Tell us a little bit about what we're seeing and the work in getting ready for the fans. That was really spectacular.
Thank you. Well, we're looking at the closing portion of our show, which was the 1812 Overture of Tchaikovsky. This little maneuver that's going on right now is called a push, in that the band pushes toward the crowd, and it's normally done in a high point in the music. Now the band has broken into some flowing patterns in which we are preparing for another high point in the music, which will come right here as the band does a maneuver in which half the band is marching at a slow tempo and half the band is marching at a fast tempo. We try to match the marching to the music as closely as possible. It's much like ballet in a sense. Now we're preparing and setting up here for another rather dramatic picture move into a basic block band, and there it is.
All right, and now let's listen to the exciting finish. People could hear it, Morgan, but there were actually some bombs going off. They were practicing that all morning before the game. I could hear them. I think Hayden could hear them out there, too.
Yes, indeed. The Overture Solennelle, of course, is a salute to the War of 1812, and characteristically ends with a lot of cannon fire. So we simulated that with big firecrackers, bombs.
Okay, Coach, you're at a disadvantage. You're in there talking to your troops, so you missed it. This is the first time you've seen this thing here. What does the band mean to the football team?
Well, you know, that's one of our big disappointments in that we are not able to watch our band perform. We hear all these great things about our marching band, but we do hear them during the ball game, and they're instrumental in creating a lot of spirit and enthusiasm on the field of play, because in key situations, our band really comes front and center and turns on the volume, and we obviously have one of the outstanding bands in the country.
And you know, Hayden, one of the most amazing things, you know, we know the football players. I saw Hap Peterson this weekend, for instance. They all love to come back to the games. But your alumni marching band thing, when you bring those guys back, it's amazing too, isn't it?
That's a big event. We have about 200 come back each year.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. Let's hope the Iowa band can keep performing, and that the Iowa football team can keep performing just like the band and bring us some more victories. Appreciate having you on here.
My pleasure. Thank you.
You bet. Morgan Jones, director of the Hawkeye Band.